Hi everyone, happy Monday. It is Monday. I hope. I really hope it's Monday. Today I'm doing, let's say the first week, expense tracking. I am just starting with October 1st. I'm not doing the last, 2 days of September in this, just because we budget monthly. And so for me, there's not really a point to put September's expenses when I'm doing this weekly tracking. So I can just get into it. We did have, you'll see towards the bottom of this, a fun weekend. More fun for me and my husband than for our kids, but they just get dragged along. So the first, as always, the most important, mortgage payment always comes out on the first. It is auto debited, so it automatically does it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. I have it all set up. So even when like our escrow is recalculated every year, it automatically updates and pulls out the correct amount. I don't have it set up myself on the amount that it pulls out. So with that, we did a couple shopping. Actually, I think out of like the 4 days that I have here, I shopped 3 days. I have groceries listed for 3 different days. This one was a small local little market that we have downtown, and they just had some specialty items. I think we got like salad dressing and peanut butter and stuff that are in compliance with the budget that I'm still on, at least this week and next week, and then I can loosen it a little bit, but it will still stay pretty clean. So that's why that was only $30, is because it was just a couple of little things, some vegetables and some specialty items that are not available at our big grocery store that we go to. Medical, my teenager had a dentist appointment, and that just had a $20 copay with it. Nothing exciting. Really, it was her 6-month cleaning appointment. We do have an eating out, which is a really random middle of the week. My husband had his procedure, and after that he said pancakes sounded fantastic. So we stopped over at IHOP, and he got himself some pancakes. And it was less than $10. It was $9.82 for that, and he was happy, and I'm happy that he's happy, especially since he's had this whole thing going on. And the first of our streaming services, which I still, I say every single time, like, I need to review our streaming services. This one is Discovery, $9.99 a month. And they just start adding up. Like, $10 a month doesn't sound like a lot until you have 5 or 6 services that are all $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 a month. And suddenly you're paying $60, which is still cheaper than getting like the actual cable service. We'll see if I actually ever do go through and take off a streaming service at 2. Just don't hold your breath for it. This is gonna be a little different. We got gas twice in one day. And actually, I think I got it both times. I think it was me. our teenager's learning to drive, and so I went and picked her up after school, and she drove home, and on our way home we stopped at a gas station, and so she filled up the car that she's allowed to drive with gas. She was weirdly excited about it, which I think I was too when I, like, the first time or two that I filled up a car with gas. It was very exciting. It was new. It was this like rite of passage thing, and now it's like, oh, I have to go fill up the car. It's almost out of gas again. So that was fun watching her do that. And then the family car that she's not allowed to drive, which is the Subaru. It fits all of us. It's the one that we paid off earlier this year. There we go. She's not allowed to drive that one, and that's because it's our newest car, and we really don't want anything to happen to it as a new driver. That one I filled up too earlier that day. So both of these, and I don't know how I managed to do this, but both of those together was $62.03. One of them is 1 cent and the other one is 2 cents, and I don't know how I managed that, but I somehow did, much to the joys of my own OCD brain. The next one is I went grocery shopping and I got some household items. And what those household items were, you know what? I looked this up earlier as I was prepping this and writing it all down and making sure I got everything, and I could not tell you what those were. But the total was $143.88, and that split between household and groceries, which I still don't know if I actually spelled that right. Ow. This is going to bother me a little bit what in the world this household was. But I do have it written down. It was $15 for household, and the remainder was groceries. Which is $128.88. I cannot figure out what that was. Huh. It'll come to me. The second I stop this recording and go to upload it, I'll be like, oh yeah, of course it was this item. It was $15. Oh well. Funny enough, I actually went to the exact same store twice that day. And baby is listed after groceries and household, but I actually did that first. So these are kind of opposite order that they happened that day. And I actually got 3 diaper creams. The daycare was completely out and desperately needed it. So I ran to the store that morning and I got 3, and I gave 2 of them over to the daycare, and I kept 1 for us because we were getting low too. And that turned, after tax and everything, $32.44. It's just, yeah, he's the one who needs the diaper cream the most. My oldest 2 never needed it, so this one's a little different for me. And then that same day, on Thursday, sometimes I look at which kid it is, sometimes I don't. I don't think I did this time. School lunches came out. They bought breakfast or lunch or whatever, and it dipped their remaining balance below the threshold I have set up. And that's $52.75. It actually reloads $50, but everybody needs a fee. I don't know why. Can we just not have all the fees? And that brings us to Friday, which is the day that the baby got his tubes in. He did great. It was like 6 a.m. in the morning. But with that, he had some eardrops, and that, because of my medical plan that I have through my job, it's a flat $10. Well, and this is where the fun weekend starts. So I put this under other. Because I pulled out cash because if you've seen previous videos, you know my husband has a number of cars, and he decided to put one into our local car show that happened this last weekend. And there was a registration fee for that, and we weren't sure if they would take cards or not. So on our way down to registration, I just pulled out the cash for it, and it was $30 or $35, but because ATMs do 20s, I just pulled out the 40, and so now we just have a little bit of cash. And that started Friday. It goes into Saturday. I did this backwards. So I'm gonna write it the same way that I prepped it, but it's backwards. Saturday night, my 9-year-old had a sleepover, which meant my teenager and husband got to watch whatever movie that they wanted. And they really wanted to watch Tremors 2. And you had to rent it for $3 and like 79 cents. I was like, it's not a big deal. It's $4. I don't know why, after paying for all these streaming services, we then still have to pay extra for certain shows and movies. Like, if I pay for the service, I should get everything included. But no, you have to pay extra. But it's $4, which is, quite frankly, really cheap if you think about it. For a movie, if you go to like the movie theater, it's so much more expensive. So they did that. I had a little bit of me time and just sat in bed and did some coloring, and I was gonna read it, except for I couldn't find my book. I did find it in my car later. I took it with me to the medical appointment Friday morning. And so there's there's a couple of eating outs in here. From Friday and Saturday. They're all listed on Saturday just because I couldn't remember which one was which. And it was over the weekend and for the same event. So it didn't matter in tons. Down Main Street, there's a cool little drink tea protein shake place. My kids like, and we actually know the owner. So we stopped by there and got a couple of drinks. It was just less than $11 for 2 drinks. My teenager paid for her own. Then there was also a bunch of food trucks, and so we did our one eating out meal there at this car show for $30.54, and we got chicken strips. A couple of us got street tacos. They were really good. I love eating the local like food trucks. They always seem to be the best. Also on Saturday, there we go. Found where since I rearranged this slightly. Also on Saturday, I went to the store. And I spent $104.32. And that is split between medical, household, and some groceries. There we go. One of these days I'll be confident in my spelling. The medical is just some vitamins, but I put it under medical because that's what made sense in my brain. Oh, actually, there you go, $20. There you go. Medical's $20. Household is $15. And the household is just some disposable aluminum trays that I got. Our neighbors have something going on. So the parents were out of town. The kids, I say kids, they're both adults. They're like 18 and 20. They were home. I made extra dinner and I put it in an aluminum tray and gave it to them. They had dinner where they didn't have to eat out and they didn't have to worry about, figuring out cooking themselves because they're still young and don't need to worry about that really. And they're both in college and they have their jobs, which is why they were still home. But I got some aluminum trays to be able to package that up and give it to them. And with that was also $69.32 in groceries, and that, right, I got them like a little salad kit so they still had a veggie. I told their mom everything I was doing. So that was, I quite enjoyed doing that. And because nobody knows who I am, I can say that on here. If anybody on here actually knew who I was or anything, I would not be mentioning that I did this at all. I don't like broadcasting when I do anything. Like donating to the daycare supplies or giving food over to my neighbors because the kids are home and their parents are out of town at the moment. They're back. Everybody's fine now. It's all good. But they very much were appreciative of that. And I enjoyed doing it. And then I combined these streaming services. This is the last thing is Netflix and Peacock. Can't get rid of them. Kids watch Netflix. Peacock gets the football games, which I think we watched last night's football game on Peacock. We watched 2 football games yesterday. Don't ask me which ones. I don't know. I'm not even sure if we get the football game tonight, but Peacock has the football games. I think the Tour de France over the summer when we watched that. But those 2 combined are just less than $19 because they're both like, what is it, $9.99 and $10.99? No, that doesn't even make sense. $7.99. Yeah, I think Netflix is $7.99, Peacock's $10.99, which gives us to $18.98. I swear I am good at math. Usually, just not on the spot. So it's a little bit more, and there is a number of grocery runs in here. But overall, I mean, eating out is still decently under control. It's $50 this last week, which is about, I think I have it budgeted for $200. Let me see if I have this. Yeah, I have it budgeted for $200, which is about $50 a week. So on track for that. Groceries is, I don't even know. It'll be fine. So there was a little bit different with this car show that we went to, and helping out neighbors with some food. But otherwise, it's a pretty good week. Not a ton. There's no extra really spontaneous spending that is what previously has kind of derailed our budget. I do know I have $35 coming out today for the junior dance team that my 9-year-old's part of, that my teenager is helping run this week. That'll be fun. They're doing a little performance on Friday at the high school football game. I'm very excited for that. High school football game is going to be another slightly unexpected expense. We do still, even though our kids perform in it, and we still, I mean, it makes sense. Everybody has to pay to get in, but still a little annoying for our budget. But we're not missing that because it's both of our kids performing at the same time. So thank you for being here with me as I ramble about everything that I spent this week. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday and a great week. Bye.